What's up, guys? Ninth Jim here, bringing another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video. Today, I'm doing Rhyperior, because I am a Rhyperior. Look, you see me in the corner? I'm so small. Anyway, Rhyperior. Awesome Pokemon. Really good under Trick Room. Great ability. Great access to a huge, really good physical moveset. Amazing stats. What is bad about this Pokemon? Nothing. This Pokemon is really awesome. One of the best and one of my favorite and one of the best in my opinion Trick Room sweepers. An amazing Pokemon this format. You give it a weakness policy, you Dynamax it. This Pokemon is so threatening. You have to just sleep it. It's the best way to get rid of it. Best way to stop its Dynamax terror. That's it. We're going to get into it. We're going to go ahead into it. I'm trying a new format here today, doing everything so that you don't have to see everything, and we can just get right to the point, right to the main points of this Pokemon. So we're going to get into it. So first off, we're going to talk about its ability as usual. Solid Rock is an amazing ability. It's not, I believe it's not its hidden ability. I think it's just one of its regular abilities. Anyway, it's very good. Damage by super effective moves is reduced by 25%. This goes so well with weakness policy Pokemon. Being able to dampen the attack of a Pokemon, the super effective attack by 25%, making your weakness policy even easier to proc. It's hard for them to knock this Pokemon out without having to go into the weakness policy and set off the weakness policy. So it's really awesome that we have this ability. And then after that, we are also going to talk about its typing. Ground Rock, super good for pressure. It's a really good offensive typing, really good stab moves. Rockslide, high horsepower, Earthquake, Stone Edge, really good stuff. But we do have a couple of quad weaknesses, grass and water. We also have a couple of regular weaknesses here: ice, fighting, ground? That's right, ground, and steel. So overall, a good couple of weaknesses, a good couple of quad weaknesses, 2 quad weaknesses, 4 regular weaknesses. Overall, pretty bad defensive typing, to be honest, but it's fine since there's so many. It's bound to activate our weakness policy at some point. Weakness policy is just so powerful on this Pokemon. It's so great, so strong. And then we also, of course, have a lot of resists, though. Like a good couple of resists here. We have rock, normal, fire, flying. Rock. I said rock already. So yeah, like a good couple of 4, I believe. 4 regular weaknesses, and then we also have poison, which we just don't care about. Like, you hit us with a poison, we don't care at all. And then we also have electric, which we actually could not care less, as we are completely resistant to that since we're a ground Pokemon. So that's pretty good as well. Anyway, let's get into its stats here. Down at the bottom, we have 40 speed, which is pretty solid for Trick Room. I believe it's the same speed as certain Pokemon like Conkeldurr, right above Gastrodon, and stuff like that. So it's not the worst without speed, or without Trick Room. It'll beat most speed. It'll beat most Trick Room Pokemon without Trick Room. So things like Torkoal, Gastrodon, a lot of those, if they're hindering nature and really down there, 0 investments, 0 IVs in speed, then we're going to be outspeeding them outside of Trick Room. Other than that, when Trick Room activates, there are a couple of things that outspeed us, and I'll be going over that just in a moment. But 40 is not that bad for Trick Room. It's pretty strong. It beats every single mid and above average speed Pokemon, so that's really good as well, under Trick Room. And then let's talk about its defenses. So HP is 115. That's absolutely insane. We max invest into that and Dynamax this Pokemon, and its HP is just off the charts. It's so good. And then defense is 130, which is also just insane. Super physically defensive. However, it's bound to have something kind of low, which is its special defense at 55. This Pokemon is going to be taking a lot more damage to those kind of things than anything physical, which could be a problem, but we could patch that up, especially with things like Light Screen. If you get partner Pokemon with Light Screen, that is amazing. Very powerful as well. Great things that you can do with Light Screen. And yeah, special defense is low. We could make a defensive Rhyperior, instead of investing into attack, you can invest into special defense, but I don't really see the point. I think it's best to go into HP. You could also go Assault Vest, and then not use Protect and go with something else like any of the moves in the middle there. But overall, I think the just sweeping aspect of it, set up Trick Room and then just attack really, really hard, is very, very powerful, especially with weakness policy proccing. It's very, very powerful. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the first build here. Ability, Solid Rock. Item, Weakness Policy. I've already explained why both of those are so powerful. And then going into our moves here, our first set is using Rockslide, High Horsepower, Fire Punch, and Protect. And I say first set, but this is the only set that I actually have today for this Pokemon. We have a couple of overflow moves, Earthquake, Superpower, Iron Head, Swords Dance. Swords Dance is really interesting. Being able to use something like a Follow Me user, set up Swords Dance, or if your opponent doesn't prioritize killing Rhyperior, or they think that you're gonna Dynamax and they don't want to set off Weakness Policy, you can get up a Swords Dance first, and then once they realize they have to either proc your Weakness Policy or attack it like 4 or 5 times, then Swords Dance has already benefited you so much to the point where you're just killing everything, and there's nothing that your opponent can really do. And then for Rockslide and High Horsepower, those are just our stab moves of choice. You can obviously switch out High Horsepower for something like Drill Run or Earthquake. Earthquake being really powerful if you have a lot of resists, ground resists, or flying Pokemon on your team, being able to switch in and out, and just not care about your Earthquakes, or more Protects on your team for something like your Torkoal, which is a very common Pokemon to partner this with. Then we also have Fire Punch here as our last attack of choice. The main reason being, as I said, switching in, pairing Torkoal with the Rhyperior. Torkoal comes in and sets Sunny Day on switch in because of Drought ability, and then Fire Punch is able to just attack very, very hard. You have that plus Eruption, and you're dealing an insane amount of damage out of nowhere. Rhyperior just becomes an unbelievably strong Pokemon right out of the gate with that. And then for our stats, we have max 252 invested into HP and attack, and then our Brave Nature, which is plus attack minus speed, giving us a little bit better under Trick Room minus speed. So Hindering Nature plus the 0 speed gives us a really good bit of speed here for Trick Room, which is what we want to do. We want to set up Trick Room and sweep all over the place. And then for our IVs, we just need 0 speed. You can have 0 or more special attack. Special attack just doesn't matter in general for this Pokemon. So that's about it for Rhyperior. I have a couple of damage calcs and speed calcs here on our next slide here. Let me move over here to Rhyperior. So first off, we're going to talk about our speed, bit of speed here. So we are 40 at Hindering and 0 investments, uninvested. So a couple of things will outspeed us under Trick Room. First off, Gastrodon. If they are Hindering and 0, uninvested, completely uninvested with Hindering Nature, so something like Relaxed, they will be at 39 to our 40, and they will be outspeeding us, setting up Scald, doing pretty good damage there. So, yeah. That's pretty annoying. They're going to be outspeeding us. Scald is going to be doing pretty good damage. You know, I probably should have calculated that. Let me do this real quick. Gastrodon. Scald is going to be doing huge damage, so keep that in mind. Gastrodon is very, very scary against us. Although when we do Dynamax, we do live a Scald. It's going to be doing about 70 to 85%. Which is a lot, don't get me wrong, but it is going to proc our Weakness Policy, and they are faster than us under Trick Room, so they'll attack us first. We will then get Weakness Policy'd, and then be able to kill it, as you can see at the bottom damage calc there. Our +2, 252 plus attack, Max Quake from Rhyperior, into a max invested, relaxed Gastrodon still OHKOs, guaranteed 107 to 127. If they are using something like Focus Sash, which they won't, they would live, but that is something to keep in mind. Anyway, they will Scald into us, they'll outspeed us under Trick Room, and then proc our Weakness Policy, and then we'll be able to just OHKO them, return OHKO them, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it from that. So Gastrodon is a bit of a problem, but it's also a bit of a non-problem since we could just return OHKO it. Next we have Bronzong hitting 34 with Hindering uninvested, which Bronzong is a pretty common Trick Room setter, so they're going to be able to come in, hit us with Gyro Ball or something like that, and it's pretty annoying. But that is there also. Bronzong is also a very used Pokemon with Rhyperior. You use Bronzong and Rhyperior. And then we also have a couple of other things: hindering nature, minus nature, uninvested. I believe some of these are with room service. So Snorlax, Reunuculus, Runerigus, Colossal, Copperajah. All these Pokemon are going to be able to outspeed us under Trick Room. And let me double check that is with... that is not with room service. So this is just hindering 0 IV, Snorlax, Runerigus, Colossal. All of these Pokemon will be able to outspeed us without using something like room service. So keep that in mind as well. Although none of those Pokemon directly threaten us too much with Rhyperior. And then for our last one, we have Torkoal and Ferrothorn, both being able to outspeed us under Trick Room. Torkoal, you knew it, but Eruption doesn't do that much to us. And then Ferrothorn as well, which is a problem. Power Whip will do a lot of damage, but it won't kill us. It'll proc our weakness policy, and then we'll return OHKO them with something like a Max Quake. So keep that in mind. Anyway, on to some damage calcs here. We have, as you know, that we are super, super defensively bulky, so things like Gyarados and Excadrill don't directly threaten us, as they would usually be our direct threats. Max Geyser from a Gyarados into our 0 defense Rhyperior is only going to do 58 to 70%. Not that much. Well, it's a lot, but it's going to proc our weakness policy then, and then we're going to just destroy them in general. And then we also have Waterfall doing not much, guaranteed 3 hit. Unless they already used Max Geyser and got Rain up, then it's going to do a little bit more, but you know that. And then Power Whip from a Gyarados is also not going to do that much. It's going to set guaranteed 3 hit KO, which is a lot of damage, don't get me wrong, but after proccing our weakness policy, if we're under Trick Room, then we are outspeeding them and we're just getting huge damage. Same with Excadrill, Max Steel Spike getting 34 to 40% into our maxed. All these calcs are maxed, by the way, so Dynamax Rhyperior, so it's going to be our double HP. So if you don't max and you use Swords Dance without Follow Me or something, you're going to die to a lot of these hits. Really just a Max Geyser here. Everything else will not kill, but still keep that in mind. You usually just max Rhyperior turn 1. The first time that he comes in. I'm saying a lot, and I'm sorry about that. Anyway, then we also have against things like Togekiss. This is before the weakness policy proc, our max Rockfall into a Togekiss, a 196 plus defense Togekiss. This is the support set. We're still able to OHKO it at the 196 plus defense, so that's really good. And then just to show off how powerful we are after we proc weakness policy is our +2 weakness policy 252 plus attack Rhyperior Max Quake into a 252 plus defense Gastrodon. We're still able to return OHKO, and that's something that resists us. So that's just to show off how powerful Rhyperior is in general. And I forgot to make a slide about my partner Pokemon, so I'll just briefly go over them right now. First off, Rhyperior goes really, really well as a sweeper on any Trick Room team, any of the Trick Room teams. So we want to use, I'm making myself a little big here. We want to use it on things like Hatterene, Indeedee, Bronzong, Dusclops, Mimikyu. Any of those Pokemon as Trick Room setters are very, very good for the Pokemon. And then also Pokemon to pair it with on a Trick Room team. Things like Torkoal, like I said, Torkoal Setting Sunny Day. Or not Setting Sunny Day, but Setting Sun with Drought, being able to make your Fire Punch really, really powerful, and having multiple Pokemon very, very potent under Trick Room, being able to just sweep through every single thing. It's also really good that this is attack. Torkoal is special attack, just being able to do a lot of damage like that, get through a lot of certain defenses. Some things might set only Light Screen or Reflect or even both, or Aurora Veil. You're still doing an insane amount of damage with both those Pokemon, this and the Torkoal. Other Pokemon is, of course, Gastrodon, Ferrothorn, Conkeldurr, a whole bunch of Pokemon like that. Anything like that can go great with this team. I'm almost at 15 minutes, and this format was designed to cut things a little bit shorter. I just keep rambling. I like this guy a lot. Rhyperior is really powerful under Trick Room. So yeah, that's going to be just about it for today's video. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and like and subscribe. Comment down below if you like this format or the old format better. The other one, I felt like I would ramble and go on and repeat some stuff, and this kind of helps me not repeat stuff as much. So yeah, let me know what you like, if you like this or just the old Cerebi and Showdown format. Pretty basic format. This takes more time and more work, but I'm fine with doing it. It only took me like an hour to make and create this video today, so, you know, it's fine. Anyway, like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it the whole way here, thank you so much, and have a good rest of your life. Thank you for watching.